Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Out of the Park Baseball 24 playthrough of the Buffalo Wings. And our Buffalo Wings are about to begin the 2041 season. A few housekeeping items to take care of before we continue our annual tradition of playing out opening day. After a 118 win regular season last year, setting the major league record for wins, we were disposed of 3-2 in the NLDS by the Los Angeles Dodgers, choking away a 2-0 series lead. And that has the prognosticators down on the Buffalo Wings this year. We're projected to be 85-77. We're projected to miss the playoffs, end up one game behind the Rockies for the fourth and final wild card spot in the National League. So expectations nationally are not as high as they've typically been for this team. That said, we're still expecting this team to not just compete for the playoffs, but compete for an NL East title, as well as hopefully the best record in baseball, trying to make it to the playoffs for the 14th consecutive season with this team. Wanted to touch upon a few housekeeping items before the season got underway. The waiver wire is active right now, and there actually is a waiver claim that we are going to make. Mentioned at the bottom of the last episode that we ended up sending the third lefty out of our bullpen, Ben Borgian, to the minor leagues, and the reason we did that is that he still had options, but we don't love the fact that we've only got two lefties on the major league team. And the best, or one of the best pitchers who's on waivers is the 31-year-old lefty Sean Drawn from the Dodgers, who is a one-time All-Star. Over the course of his career has put up a 1.26 ERA plus and 88 FIP minus. Been a pretty solid reliever. You can see he's got well above average stuff, plus movement and control, a excellent fastball, and a very good sinker to go with a quite mediocre curveball. But he's been a pretty good left-handed reliever over the course of his career, and he's also tougher on lefties than he is on righties. So who knows whether the claim will go through. We'll find that all out in the next couple of days. But we are going to go ahead and put in a claim for Mr. Drawn. So we'll find out early in our next episode whether or not that goes through or not. Taking a look at our front office, we're 11th in the league in budget this year. The $238 million budget we have is the highest that it's ever been. Still only 22nd in player payroll, however. We're investing heavily in scouting and player development as we normally do. $18 million in scouting, $38 million in player development. And we've also got a somewhat high, for us who have usually been picking near the end of the first round over the past decade plus, draft budget, because we do have two supplemental first round picks this year for the departures of our longtime shortstop Steve Anderson, and then the infielder / outfielder Daniel Meza, who was with us last year before he hit free agency. So investing a bit higher than normal in those aspects, which keeps our player payroll towards the bottom of the league. Still have about $4 million to potentially spend at this point. And we lowered our ticket price slightly from the average price that it was last year. You can see we sold just a few fewer season tickets than a year ago. Probably we'll see how attendance goes in the early stages. We like to fill up the building, but also kind of want to maximize revenue. So we may increase prices a bit if we are as successful on the field as I hope that we will be. Turning to player development, as the minor league seasons also are about to get underway, We're still in a position where we have one of the better farm systems in baseball, ranked fifth out of 32 teams, four top 100 prospects. Jim Lance, who's going to be our fifth starter this year. Juan Toledo, who we made a big investment in as an international amateur free agent a few years ago, had a very rough first season last year as a 17-year-old in the DSL. Hopefully he'll be more effective this year. Alejandro Contreras, the second baseman who we made a big trade for a year ago, is starting the year with a strained ab on the IL, but should be in the majors all year. And then our final top 100 prospect is the 22-year-old starting pitcher Chris Lott, who we picked with a supplemental pick, 40th overall back in 2037, was 12-5 with a 4.73 ERA and A ball last year. We promoted him to the high A Jamestown Jammers this year, and would expect to likely see him in Double A in the not so distant future, and even an outside chance that we might see him in Triple A later this year. Turning to our pitching staff before we play the opening day game, Alexis Barajas, Alexis Mendoza, and Sincere Shazier are back as our number 1, 2, and 3 starters. Eric Barbarito, the 26-year-old, moves up to be our fourth starter. And as we mentioned, Jim Lance, highly regarded prospect, is going to be our number 5 starter this year. A lot of familiar names back in the bullpen. Quite honestly, 7 names are carryovers from last year. The only new addition is the Rule 5 pick Nelson Davila, because we wanted to keep the 23-year-old, who we think has some potential to be a pretty useful right-handed reliever. Wanted to keep him in the organization, so that was why we ended up sending Borjan down, which does leave us with only 2 lefties in the bullpen. If the waiver claim that I made goes through, we're going to have another tough decision to make. I was asked in the comments to our previous episode, why didn't send down Mike Waters instead of Borjan? I do agree that talent-wise, Waters is probably the weakest skill set of any of our bullpen pitchers, which when you look at his skill set right here, shows how good our bullpen is. He does only throw in the mid-90s or the low 90s, though, and he's going to be turning 30 this coming off season. The reason I didn't send him down was that he's out of option years, so Borjan really just caught up in the numbers game. Didn't want to risk losing Mike Waters, but it is conceivable if this waiver claim goes through that he could be someone we might have to move on from. We're also going to have couple of interesting decisions to make in our lineup in the next couple of weeks. Mentioned that Contreras is out for another couple weeks with that strained ab. The left-handed hitting outfielder Tylin Hotaling injured for about another 4 days. He is a guy that we could put in the minors, but we are probably one left-handed bat short at the major league level too. And when Hotaling is finally healthy from that farming injury that he suffered during spring training, going to have a real interesting roster decision to make. Lineup-wise, we've got a heavily platoon-oriented lineup this year. You can see right now everyone on the team is starting against either left-handed hitting or right-handed hitting, or left-handed pitching or right-handed pitching, if I could speak and explain things properly to those of you who are gracious enough to still be watching and listening. I'd say clearly the big addition has been Daniel Rojas, who we signed to a 4-year, $120 million deal to become our cleanup hitter and first baseman. The surprise when I look at these starting rosters for me is probably that Josh Porter, who we made a trade for last offseason with Atlanta, and when we look at his skill set, view him as a potentially important part of our team going forward, is right now only in the starting lineup against left-handed pitching. Now, when we look at Porter's splits, you can see he's a potentially excellent hitter against left-handed pitching, a potentially productive hitter against right-handed pitching. So his overall skill set, I think, is of a guy who probably should be in the lineup every day. But we have decided to give the youngster Ishmael Velasco, the switch-hitting center fielder, the opportunity to play every day against right-handed pitching. His ability to make contact against righties is excellent. Doesn't strike out very much. There's even a thought that he could eventually supplant Deshaun Seifu against right-handed pitching as our leadoff hitter. We're not ready to make that move yet, but we think it is possible that Seifu here at, I believe he's 36 going on 37, maybe in a situation where probably drop him down in the order at some point against right-handed pitching. You can see his contact is only 55. His gap power is 60. Still doesn't draw a ton of walks. He definitely is a less effective hitter against right-handed pitching than left-handed pitching at this point. So it's conceivable that depending on how things go over the next month or two, we could look to drop Deshaun Seifu in the lineup against right-handed pitching, but not going to do that quite yet. Speaking of those injured players, when Contreras does come back, probably will be a relatively easy decision to send down Mike Whitehead. We are playing him every day now, but he is a guy who only has 34 games of AAA experience for us, and he was a below-average offensive player there last year. Like his glove, like some of the things he brings to the clubhouse, but when Contreras comes back, and it's going to be much harder to get playing time for Whitehead, I think the plan is to send him down. And again, the outfield situation, we are loaded in the outfield right now, so figuring out what to do when Ho-tailing is ready is going to be an interesting decision. But with only our catcher, Mitch Houlihan, and then the outfielders, Luis Comaduran and Mike Broughton, as left-handed hitters on our 26-man roster, I think Ho-tailing is going to have a pretty good argument to become a fourth left-handed bat for us when he comes off the IL, which is going to likely lead to an interesting decision for us. But we will worry about those roster decisions in the coming days and weeks. Right now it's time for opening day, and we're going to be going up against a good Phillies team. You can see we're pretty well balanced in terms of where they think each team has an advantage in the starting lineup. We do have the favorite in pitching with our ace, Alexis Barajas, the 32-year-old on the mound, going up against their 32-year-old right-hander, Kevin Navarro. We're also going to be on the road on opening day at Citizens Bank Park. So could be a good test. Hopefully we can get this season off to a good start. As I mentioned, the sports media and the bettors around the major leagues and around the United States are not expecting big things from our Buffalo Wings this season. But I am pretty confident that when all is said and done, we will once again be a competitive team. And Seifu, the living legend for the Buffalo Wings, trying to put the finishing touches. He's in the late innings of a hopefully Hall of Fame career. Only Rickey Henderson has stolen more bases than Seifu in the history of Major League Baseball. Seifu has led the National League in stolen bases 13 consecutive years, and he's probably at this point about 2.5 years away from 3,000 hits in his career. So it will be interesting to see what he can do for us. He's definitely diminished in terms of his contact, particularly against right-handed pitching, who he'll be facing 75-80% of the time. And his speed is not quite what it used to be. But as I said, he still led the league in steals last year, and we'll see if he can lead the National League in steals a 14th consecutive year, as we also try to make the playoffs for a 14th consecutive year. So we are going to let Mr. Seifu swing away as we get this 2041 season started in Philadelphia. And Seifu starts it off with a single to left field. So good start to the season for him. And the catcher, Danny Langella, has got a pretty bad arm. You can see Seifu still with a 70 speed and 75 steal rating. We're going to have Ishmael Velasco, the youngster, take a pitch, just see if maybe they're trying to pitch out. And they did throw over, trying to keep Seifu close. We'll take another pitch, and he throws over again. So they are very concerned about Mr. Seifu on first base. Still set up Velasco to take another pitch, and they throw over again 3 straight times. They are concerned about Mr. Seifu. Navarro finally deals, and a fastball on the corner. We are going to let Seifu run here now with an 0-1 count. And looks like the hit and run was on, perhaps inadvertently, but nice hit from the youngster Velasco, singles to right field. Seifu easily glides into third. So a nice start here in the top of the first. 2 straight hits for the Buffalo Wings. Runners on the corner with nobody out. And Luis Comaduran with his first at-bat of the season. And Comaduran with a broken bat infield single gets the run in. Seifu has scored his first run of the year. And runners on first and second with nobody out. And the new addition, Daniel Rojas, gets his first at-bat of the season for the Buffalo Wings, first at-bat of his Buffalo Wings career for the big free agent investment. And he flies out to left field for the first out of the inning. Mike Broaden, left-handed hitting outfielder. As I mentioned, we're short on left-handed hitters this year, which is part of the reason why Broaden's getting another chance. He's been with us for a few years now. Last year was the best season he's had with Buffalo, but overall he hasn't hit the way that we had hoped, and his salary is starting to get a little higher. If he's not more productive this season, could be his final year in a Wings uniform. 2-0 count to Broaden, though, and he does lace a single to left field to load the bases, so a nice start for him. Velasco, Comaduran, and Broaden on with the bases loaded. Juan Romero, who's been our best hitter, leading the team in homers and ribbies each of the last 2 seasons since he joined us from Atlanta. He's now our number 6 hitter against right-handed pitching with the improvements we've made to this roster. We are going to let him swing away with the bases loaded. And unfortunately, he grounds into a 6-4-3 double play. So a lot of offense for the Buffalo Wings to only result in that 1 run. 1 run on 4 hits for Buffalo. Hopefully that's something we won't regret in the later innings of this game. Going to the bottom of the first, Luis Morales leading off against our ace, Alexis Barajas. A 2-2 count to Morales, and he struck him out on a fastball. Oberth Bruflat, the number 2 hitter, up now. And Bruflat flies out to center field for the second out of the inning to the youngster Velasco. Dante Afriye, the number 3 hitter, up. 3-0 count to Afriye, and he draws the 4-pitch walk. Yoichi Kubota, the cleanup hitter, up. And he goes down swinging. So no runs on no hits, 1 left on base because of the walk. 2 strikeouts for Mr. Barajas in the first inning. And we go to the top of the second, 1-0 Buffalo. And our number 7 hitter, the catcher Mitch Houlihan, who was injured for the playoffs last year, starting catcher. Good to have him back in the lineup. And Houlihan gives that one a ride. A leadoff home run in the second inning for Mitch Houlihan. 366 field down the right center field, down the right field line. and a 2-0 lead for Buffalo. Number 8 hitter is the youngster Mike Whitehead we talked about. He's really in there for his glove at second base, and Whitehead flies out to right field in his first major league at bat. And last but not least, our number 9 hitter, Jim Andrews, who we picked up. He was the main return we got when we traded away our longtime two-way pitcher, Juan Estrada, who was set to make a lot of money, wanted to get that money off the books to bring on Rojas. Andrews, think that he can ultimately be a really good defensive player. The hope is that his bat gets to be type of average-ish major league bat. We'll see how that develops in the coming months and years. Started off his career in Buffalo with a fly out to right for the second out of the inning. So Deshaun Seifu now up with 2 outs in the top of the second. And Seifu, with his second hit of the day, drills a stand-up double. So was talking earlier about how I was worried that Seifu might not be the same player he's always been against right-handed pitching at his age, but started off the season and top of the second innings, he's already got a single, a double, and a run scored. Ishmael Velasco now up. We're not going to send Seifu with 2 outs. A fly out to the outfield isn't going to get a run in, so Seifu's probably got enough speed that he can score from second on a single. I think against a poor catcher arm like Danny Langella, he'd probably get a stolen base if we sent him here. I just don't think from a baseball perspective there's really any reason to do it. So we will let Velasco swing away, and he flies out to left for the final out of the inning. So a run for Buffalo in both the first and the second, 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the second. Barajas now going up against the number 5 hitter, Jake Spring. 1-2 count to Spring, and Barajas with his 3rd strikeout of the day. Now going up against Deshaun Henney, left-handed hitting first baseman, or actually a switch hitting first baseman who's batting left-handed against Barajas. And he drills that one out to center field, off of the wall, a stand-up double for him. Danny Curtis up with the runner on second, and he's strikeout. 4 of the 5 outs for Barajas have been by strikeout. Going up against the third baseman now, Luis Zarza, 2 outs, man on second. 0-2 count to Zarza, and Zarza comes through. Singles to right field, and the run scores. So the lead has been cut to 2-1, going up against the number 9 hitter now, Danny Langella. Let's see if Barajas can get out of the inning. 2-2 count, and he pops it up to third. So 1 run on 2 hits for the Phillies at the end of 2, 2-1 Buffalo. Moving to the top of the third, Luis Comaduran leading off for us. 3-4-5 up for Buffalo this inning. Maybe that'll be some runs. Comaduran starts things out with a fly out to left field. Daniel Rojas, another opportunity for the new addition. 1-2 count, and Rojas. Interesting play there. The ball deflected off of the pitcher to the second baseman, who made the play to get Rojas, given that he doesn't have great speed at first base. Mike Broaden now up with 2 outs. 0-1 count to Broaden, and he crushes that one. Mentioned that Broaden was in kind of a prove-it year for us, and a nice start to the season for him with a 439-foot solo home run to give Buffalo a 3-1 lead. Juan Romero now up with 2 outs, full count to Mr. Romero, and he pops out to first to end the inning. So another run for Buffalo here in the third, 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the third in Philadelphia. Top of the order back up for the Phillies, Luis Morales at the plate. 0-2 count for Morales. He strikes out, That is number 5 for Barajas, who is dealing pretty well today. He has thrown 40 pitches already, but 5 strikeouts in 2 1/3 innings, going after Bruflat, the number 2 hitter now. And Bruflat singles to right field, the 3rd hit of the day for Philly. Bruflat doesn't have great speed. We are going to go back to double play depth here and see if maybe we can get one pitch to get out of this inning. 1-1 count to a free A, and instead he goes the opposite way to left field. Runners on first and second now with only 1 out, and the cleanup hitter Yoichi Kubota up. Full count to Kubota, and another hit, single right up the middle, and that's going to score another run. So a lot of scoring in the early innings of this game, and now Phillies up to 5 hits, 3-2, but still runners on first and second with only 1 out. Go after Jake Spring here, and Spring has an infield single. It almost looked like the pitcher didn't even attempt to make a play on it. Don't know what Barajas was doing there, but now the bases are loaded. Still only 1 out. Going after Deshaun Henney, 1-2 count, and he grounds it to third. They make the play over to first for the out, but the tying run comes in. So runners now on second and third, 2 outs. Hopefully can get out of this inning. Going after the center fielder, Danny Curtis, and the ball gets away from the catcher, and the go-ahead run comes in. So that wasted opportunity in the first inning when we only got 1 run may come back to haunt us. We're now down in the game 4-3, runner on third, 3-1 count, and walk the batter to put runners on first and third here. Barajas kind of in the danger zone with 68 pitches. He's now in the kind of the caution area as far as the number of pitches he's thrown. Really lost things after that strikeout at the start of the inning. He's only gotten 1 out since then. Going against the right-handed hitting Zarza, you would think that the matchup righty on righty favors him. If he can't get this guy out, could shockingly be the end of his day. He does get him to fly out to center field, though, but 3 runs on 4 hits for the Phillies, and Philly takes a 4-3 lead into the 4th here. Our catcher, Mitch Houlihan, is going to lead off the top of the 4th. You may remember he led off the top of the 2nd with a solo homer. Would certainly love a repeat performance of that. 1-1 count to Houlihan, and he does single up the middle. So good to have Houlihan back in the lineup. Definitely missed his defense as well as his offense in the playoffs last year. The bottom of our order with no Contreras, with Whitehead and Andrews in the 8 and 9 holes playing second and short, is definitely weaker offensively than we'd like it to be. As I mentioned, we're only a couple weeks away from the potential return of Contreras, which should help our offense. 1-2 count to Whitehead, and he grounds out 6-4. Get the force play at second, but they don't make a play to get Whitehead himself at first. So 1 away, runner still on first for Jim Andrews. 2-1 count to Andrews, and Andrews flies out to left. Top of the order now with Seifu, who is 2 for 2 today. 0-1 count to Deshaun, and he grounds out 4-3 to finish the inning. So the Phillies now up 69 pitches from Barajas. We'll see if we can at least get another inning out of him. Going up against the catcher, the number 9 hitter, Danny Langella. And Langella grounds out to second, Whitehead to first, 4-3. The 2 new additions to our team, Whitehead to Rojas for the play. Back to the leadoff hitter, Luis Morales. And a little dribbler in front of the catcher turns into infield single. So one aboard. Morales has some speed. We will throw over to first, try to keep him close. And then we're going to go back to double play depth. See if we can get Brew flat here. 1-2 count, and he strikes out. So 2 away now. Number 3 hitter Dante Afriyi up again. We will go after him. 2-2 count, and Afriyi also strikes out. So Barajas settled down a bit this inning, but Buffalo still down 4-3 as we head to the top of the 5th. Number 2 hitter Ishmael Velasco taking that spot in the lineup where Juan Estrada has been behind Deshaun Seifu in the order for about a decade. New lineup for us, new look this year. And the youngster Velasco, I mentioned starting him in center field over Porter, probably a bit of a controversial move with some of our fans, but Velasco, with his second hit of the day, is making a strong bid to remain in the lineup. Coma Duran now up with Velasco on. We're going to have Coma Duran take a pitch here. They are throwing over Velasco. He doesn't have Deshaun Seifu type speed, but again, Danny Langella does not have a great arm, so we are going to try to test him. And low with a fastball, so there's a 1-0 count now. We're going to send Velasco here now, and he makes it to second. Velasco with his first stolen base of the season, so a runner on second now with a 2-0 count. Let Coma Duran swing away here. The count is full. It's a dribbler to short, and the shortstop makes a nice play, 6-3, and unfortunately Velasco unable to move forward. So Daniel Rojas, the big addition, up with a runner in scoring position. 1-1 count to Rojas, and Rojas singles up the middle. No play at the plate. So we are tied now at 4, the first RBI of Rojas' Buffalo Wings career. Hopefully there will be about 100 more over the next 162 games. Mike Broughton now up, homered in his last at-bat. 2-2 count to Broughton, and flies out to deep second base, technically this time. 2 away, or actually he didn't fly out. What was that? I wish I had followed things a little closer. It looked like it was caught, but I should have been following the play-by-play. Let's go back to the game log and see exactly what I missed. I guess it was just a pop-up that fell in. It looked to me like the second baseman went out there and made the catch in short right field. But apparently that fell in. So runners on first and second, only 1 out. Juan Romero up. Romero, a 1-2 count. And I don't know if that's going to be a single or an error, but it gets the go-ahead run in, and they're calling it a single. So Juan Romero, as we said, moved to the number 6 hole against right-handed pitching for us now, despite leading the league in homers and ribbies 2 straight years, or leading the team in homers and ribbies 2 straight years, not the league. So seems like he wanted to get in on the party here with a big RBI single. 1 away, and the Phillies have gone to their bullpen, bringing in the right-handed pitcher Tim Basler. Left-handed hitting catcher Houlihan up, still only 1 out, runners on first and second. And Houlihan, 6-2-4-2-3, grounds into a double play, so 2 runs on 4 hits for Buffalo. We take the lead back, but still with 5 runs on 12 hits through 5 innings, feel like we've left a lot of potential runs off the board. And Barajas, as we move to the bottom of the 5th, 84 pitches into the game. We're going to have him on a short leash. See if he can get the right-hander Kubota If he gets him, we'll probably give him at least another batter. But I think if anyone gets on base with a lefty and a switch hitter up the next couple players, could be the end for Barajas. 3-2 count to Kubota, and he grounds out to third, 5-3. Seifu, who's now playing third base against right-handers, makes the play. So going up against the left-handed hitting Jake Spring right now, give him another batter. And Spring pops out to short for the second out of the inning to Andrus. 92 pitches now for Barajas. He's definitely tiring, but he's potentially one batter away for being in line for the W, and I'm a sucker for the old sentimental stats like wins and ribbies that no one cares about today like they used to 40 years ago. So we're going to try to get Barajas one more batter. 1-2 count to the left-handed hitter, and he strikes him out. So a nice finish to the game for Barajas. 8th strikeout of the day to get out of the 5th inning, and we take a 5-4 lead into the 6th. Whitehead leading off against Tim Basler here in the 6th. And Whitehead singles to right field. So the youngster, that is his first major league hit. So good job for Mike Whitehead. We'll see what the shortstop Andrus can do now. Number 9 hitter up with a runner on first, and Andrus strikes out. Back to the top of the order with Deshaun Seifu, who's got a double, a single, and a run scored for us. Full count to Seifu, and he grounds out 6-4. So the play at second, Seifu now on at first base. 2 outs, Velasco up. We're going to have him take a pitch. I think they'll probably throw over even with the 2 outs. Yep, they did. We'll let them throw over again if they want. Take another pitch. Strike one down the middle. We're going to send Seifu. Could be a similar situation. Get him running like last time. Maybe Velasco will come through with a hit. But we are sending Seifu. And Seifu, with his first stolen base, gets to second base, so we have moved him into scoring position here. 1-1 count to Velasco. We're going to try to steal third with Seifu right now. We're going to take advantage of Langella's poor arm, we hope. And Seifu steals third as well, so Seifu with 2 steals here on opening day now. He's now on third base with a 2-1 count to Velasco. Would hope that we can at least get another run in here. We'll let Velasco swing away now. Full count to Velasco. And he ends up grounding out to first. And that's the end of the inning. So hoping Velasco could come through for us. It looked like a sharp grounder down to first, but they made the play. So wasted those stolen bases by Deshaun Seifu trying to get something going. And as I mentioned, we're going to be done with Barajas now. 96 pitches. Very early April in Philadelphia is plenty of a workload for him. Got 2 righties and a lefty coming up. And we are going to go to Robbie Farrell. The right-hander had a nice year for us a year ago. Got to bring Mr. Farrell in as our pitcher here in the 6th inning. Going after Danny Curtis. And Curtis grounds to short. Play made 6-3. Not a good throw, but Rojas made a nice play. He is a former Gold Glove winner at first base. Farrell now going after the number 8 hitter, the third baseman, Zarza. And Zarza gives that one a ride to center field, and he is about to leg out a triple. So a runner on third now with only 1 out. The catcher, Danny Langella, up. 1-1 count. And he flies. Oh, he doesn't fly out. He puts a single into right field, so he's tied things up after all of the machinations last inning trying to ensure that Barajas could get the W. The reliever we brought in Farrell has puked up the lead here in the bottom of the sixth. Langella now on first, still only one out. We'll go to double play depth, see if we can get out of the inning here. Grounds it to third, 5-4 for the lead runner. Morales now on first, though, so 2 away. And the number 2 hitter flies out to center field, but Philly came back, tied the game at 5. So disappointing performance out of the bullpen there. So as we move to the top of the 7th, tied at 5-5, 3, 4, and 5 up for Buffalo this inning, and Coma Duran, Rojas, and Broaden against the right-handed pitching reliever Basler. Coma Duran flies out to left field. Daniel Rojas, the new cleanup hitter, up. Grounds out 4-3 for the second out of the inning. And now Mike Broaden up. 2-2 count to Broaden. And he strikes out. So a 1-2-3 inning. I think that might be the first 1-2-3 inning we've had, unfortunately. Head to the 7th inning stretch, still locked up at 5. And Farrell, I think with 2 lefties coming up, we're going to go to the bullpen. I just was not impressed with what we got from Farrell last inning. So we're going to go to David Espinoza, bring the lefty in, see what he can do against Dante Alfrie here in the bottom of the 7th. And he strikes him out on a wicked slider. Going up against Yoshi Kubota now, the cleanup hitter. And Kubota knocks that one down the right field line. Looks like it's going to be a stand-up double for Kubota. So this is a big batter now, the left-handed hitting Jake Spring. Hopefully Espinoza can get him. Full count to Spring. Espinoza grounds out 5-3 for the second out of the inning. And now the switch hitter Deshaun Henney up. Looks like he's not particularly effective against left-handed batters or left-handed pitchers, even though he is a right-handed hitter now against him with his switch hitting ability. And he goes down, strikes out to end the inning. So 5-5 as we head to the 8th. Juan Romero leading off for us. Basler still on the mound for the Phillies. And Juan Romero crushes that one to right field. First home run of the season for Juan Romero, and the Wings take a 6-5 lead on the solo shot by Romero. Definitely hitting more home runs today than we've typically hit in recent seasons. We've invested a lot in the offense, obviously adding Rojas, who we talked about, but Coma Duran, Broaden, and Romero are all players that we've added in recent years as well. So good to see some production from the lineup with Broaden, Romero, and Houlihan, who's now up again, having home runs for us today. 0-2 count to the catcher, and Houlihan pops it up. Looks like an easy play for the infielder there. Mike Whitehead, the young second baseman, up with 1 out. And Whitehead, another home run. Whitehead goes the opposite way, the first major league home run of Whitehead's career. I said earlier that we'd be sending him down most likely when Contreras is back in a couple of weeks, but maybe Whitehead's going to make it an interesting decision for us. fourth homer of the day for Buffalo gives us a 7-5 lead. Jim Andrews, the number 9 hitter, now up with 1 out. 2-2 count to Andrews. He goes down swinging. And now Seifu leading off, another reliever, another right-hander, Yang-Ju Kim, in for the Phillies here in the top of the 8th. 2-2 count to Seifu, and Seifu strikes out to end the inning. So 2 runs on 2 hits for the Buffalo Wings here in the 8th. A pair of solo home runs give us the lead. Heading to the bottom of the order, 7, 8, and 9 due, including a couple of right-handed hitters. So took Espinoza 20 pitches to get out of that 7th inning. We're going to go back to the bullpen. We're going to bring in Elvin Jimenez, the right-handed reliever. Normally, the 8th inning would be time for our stopper, Nate Ruckel, who's been excellent, but with the fact that we've only got the 2 lefties in the pen, I want to be a little more strategic with the way we use him, potentially, at least in the one game that I'm managing. I'm sure it'll be different going forward, since the next 161 games will likely be played without my pitch-to-pitch influence. But Jimenez comes on, going against the number 7 hitter, Danny Curtis. And he strikes him out. The righty, Luis Zarza, up now. 2-2 count to Zarza. And Zarza gives that one a ride to center field, but the play is made by Velasco. 2 away. And now Danny Langella, the catcher, is up. 1-1 count to Langella. And Langella flies out to right. So a 1-2-3 inning on the mound. And we head to the 9th. 7-5 Buffalo. Number 2 hitter, the young center fielder, Ishmael Velasco, leading off for us here, as we're hoping to get at least one insurance run here in the 9th. And Velasco pops out to short for the first out of the inning. Luis Comaduran, the left-handed hitting outfielder, up. Comaduran gives it a ride the opposite way. The 5th solo home run of the day for the Buffalo Wings here in Philadelphia. First homer for Comaduran this season, but 5 solo shots for Buffalo, 8-5 lead. Rojas now at the plate. 2-2 count to Mr. Rojas. And he grounds out to second, 4-3 for the second out of the inning. And Mike Brodin now up. Give Brodin another at-bat. He's hitting .750 on this young season, and he strikes out to end the inning. But we do get the insurance run on the 5th home run of the day. The score now 8-5, and with it being a save opportunity, we are going to go to our closer, Joe Scott. Been with us for 3 seasons now since we made a trade with the Padres to bring him over. Hoped that he would stabilize the closer position for us, and he's won 2 Mariano Rivera awards in 3 seasons, so he has certainly done that for us. We'll see if Scott can get his first save of the season today in Philadelphia. Going after the leadoff hitter, Luis Morales. And Morales starts it off with a single to center field, so not the start that we were looking for. The right-handed hitting Oberth Bruflat up now. Morales does have some speed. We're going to throw over to first. Try to keep him honest. We're not going to go to double play depth. Only 1 runner on. We got a 3-run lead. 1-1 count. Got the lead runner at second, 5-4, no play for the pivot man, Whitehead. Looks like he was hurt on the play, but he's going to be able to stay in the game. So one away, slower runner on first now, so that was positive. Scott going up against the left-handed, hitting Afriye, their number 3 hitter. 1-2 count to Dante Afriye. He strikes out for the second out of the inning. And now facing the cleanup hitter, Yoichi Kubota. Kubota with a couple of hits and a ribby today. Full count to Kubota. And he grounds it to short, 6-3. And the game is over. Buffalo with an 8-5 victory over Philadelphia to get the 2041 season off to a good start. Taking a look, we got those 3 runs in each of the first 3 innings, but we gave up the lead with the 3 spot that the Phillies put on us in the 3rd. Took the lead back in the 5th. They tied us in the 6th, but the 2 solo homers in the 8th and then the solo homer in the 9th ended up turning the game from a 5-5 tie into an 8-5 victory. Pretty good offense from Buffalo today. 16 hits. Everyone except the number 9 hitter, Jim Andrews, had at least 1 hit. And everyone except Andrews and our new cleanup hitter, Mr. Rojas, had 2 or more hits on the day. So a lot of good offense. Pitching-wise, Barajas, 3 earned runs over 5 innings was not great. Farrell blew the save and blew the opportunity for Barajas to get the W. Espinoza came in and gets credit for the W. Jimenez with a hold, and Scott with a save in his first action of the year. Mike Broughton, player of the game, 3 for 5, including that solo home run. Pretty active on the base paths with a couple of steals from Seifu and 1 from Velasco. So a good start to the 2041 season here on April Fool's Day 2041. Our Buffalo Wings are 1-0, tied for first place with the Marlins, the Expos, and the Nationals after today's action. And Deshaun Seifu leading the league in steals as he attempts to lead the league in steals for a 14th consecutive year. And with that, we will call it an episode. We'll find out how the early season action goes in our next episode. We'll find out whether our waiver claim went through, and if so, what we're going to do to our pitching staff. And we'll also be deciding relatively soon, assuming that Contreras and Hoteling come back from their injuries in the expected time frame, what we're going to do with them. Really like our roster this year. Going to have some tough decisions ahead of us when those players are healthy. But expecting big things from Buffalo this year, even though as I said, the sports media is not. We think that they're going to be wrong. And I think this Buffalo Wings team can definitely be a 100-win team once again. And we'll find out how the first 50 or 60 games towards that goal go in our next episode. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.